everybody to the Walkway lecture series. This is our first one for the series. I'm Kathy Smith. I'm a member of the board for the Walkway Friends organization. And every year we try to have 3 or 4 lectures that let visitors know what else is wonderful in the area. And today we're very fortunate to have a lecture on the trails and hikes in the Hudson Valley. Because anybody you see wearing red is a volunteer, and the number 2 question that they get is, what else is there to do in the Hudson Valley? So you're going to find out today what else there's to do in the Hudson Valley. Number 1 question, where's the restroom? So we're very, very fortunate to have Mike Todd today speak about hiking in the Hudson Valley. Mike moved here almost 20 years ago, and he had never been to the Hudson Valley, and he fell in love with its beauty. And for the next 5 years, he led a weekly hike on all the wonderful trails that are around here. And he quickly realized that there was a lot of information that wasn't documented anymore. So Mike, for the last several years, has been the creator and documenter of the website called Hike the Hudson Valley. So he today is going to tell us about his experience hiking and then some of his favorite trails here. So I'd like to introduce Mike. And I'd also like to introduce his assistant, Evan. Thank you, Evan, for helping.
Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for coming out today. Really appreciate you being here on our first non-rainy weekend of 2019. And we're spending together the last few hours where everybody doesn't know how Game of Thrones ends. So yeah, I'm curious to see how that goes tonight. And thank you. I have my assistant here, Evan, will be driving the slideshow behind me. So we've done a couple of library talks with a couple of local libraries have asked me to come out and talk about hiking in the area. So Evan is well practiced at working the clicker by now. Please tell me if you see a red dot on me at any point. This thing unfortunately has a laser pointer also. It turns into a Pink Floyd laser show sometimes, so I'm not expecting it to. No, he's not. He says he's not going to use the laser pointer. Maybe just a little heckling. All right, so I wanted to start out by thanking the Friends of the Walkway and Kathy for inviting me to come out and speak to you all today. My family has loved visiting the Walkway ever since it opened in 2009. I first moved to the area in 2000, and I had a guidebook then that was printed in 1996 that said that you could come to the highland side of the Walkway and venture out to the flagpole if you were brave enough to do it. I think there was plywood down at that point. So my roommate Larry and I came out to right about this spot. We ventured through the woods, and when we got right over there, we found a chain link fence with barbed wire on top, and we thought, well, the barbed wire is probably just to keep the old people out. We were young, so Larry and I were working on our game plan for how are we going to get past this obstacle. When we heard a rustling in the trees behind us, and we turned around, and there was a very polite police officer from Highland who came in and very courteously advised that maybe we find another way to entertain ourselves that day. So that was our first experience coming to the Walkway. The police officer could have told us to come back in 9 years, and we would have this right here waiting for us, and a few years after that in this lovely pavilion. So Larry and I were a little bit ahead of our time, but we're very much looking forward to the Walkway opening. We brought our family out here. Anytime we have an out-of-town guest come to the area, this is where we take them. I posted a picture, the bike trailer that I have there, it's called a Wee-Hoo. They're the best. I would highly recommend if anybody is dragging a child behind them on a bicycle, the Wee-Hoo is a great way to do it. That's both my kids sitting in there. It's got little saddlebags to put your stuff. I posted that, and that was the most liked thing I've ever posted to Facebook. So everybody loves the Walkway, and we have really enjoyed it. So I'm honored to be here today, and thank you for the invitation. Oh, and thank you to all the ambassadors and the volunteers who make this such a wonderful place to visit, and who help give information to everybody visiting from out of town. Thank you so much for everything you do. Okay, and thank you. I had no idea. This is a scene from my nightmare last night. One person falling asleep. So thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. Since I created Hike the Hudson Valley, I've always been an avid hiker. It's something I grew up doing with my family. Usually when we went on vacation, I grew up in southeast PA, where there wasn't a whole lot of hiking to do in the area. So it was a really nice change to move here and have all these glorious hikes all around. But I've always tried to make that website as useful as possible to hikers and think, what would I want to see? If I was new to the area or if I was looking for a hike, and I just knew I wanted to take an easy hike, or maybe I was looking for something more difficult. I tried to give hikers everything they need and all the information they need to make the right decision to have a fun and safe day on the trails. And I'd also like this talk to deliver what you all are looking for. So if you have any questions throughout, please don't hesitate to let me know. And I'm happy to take the conversation wherever you'd like to take it. Yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit about just my story. Kathy went over it a little bit, but I want to talk about why Hike the Hudson Valley exists, what you can find if you go out there and you can try using it. Just as a show of hands, how many people have used the website? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're on the website a lot. Yeah. Now I'll talk about some of my favorite hiking tips, and I'd like to get some from the crowd as well. If you all have any tips that you'd like to share, things that make your hikes more successful. And then I'll spend the bulk of the time towards the end talking about some of my favorite local destinations, putting some pictures up, see if you all can recognize where these pictures were taken, and then I can tell you a little bit about those hikes. All right. And then wherever else you'd like it to take us. So do you have any questions before we get started, or anything you all would like to make sure that we talk about here today? All right. All right. So yeah, back in 2000, I was a student at Penn State. That's where I met my wife. And I got a call. I'd gone to a career fair. I had given my resume to IBM. I hadn't heard anything back for a while, and then my phone rang. And for any millennials in the crowd, that's what a phone looked like in the year 2000. And I got a phone call from IBM, and they said I had an offer for a summer co-op in Poughkeepsie, New York. And I ran to a piece of paper, and I wrote down P-O-K-I-P-S-Y. I said, where is this place? I hope it's not near Buffalo. Not that there's anything wrong with Buffalo. But this is nice and close to where I grew up. It's a 3.5-hour drive if you're lucky down to see my folks. So I was really pleased to see that it was fairly close by. But I moved here in 2000. I didn't know anybody. I had a PlayStation 2, so that was fun to play after work. That kept me entertained for a little while. But then I wanted to get out and explore the area. And so I found these couple of trail guides, or these books by Peggy Turco. Has anybody ever used these books? Yeah, they're fantastic. Peggy's a naturalist, and she tells you all sorts of interesting things about all the hikes that you go on. So I just started tearing through these books, and every day after work I'd go explore a new place. And you can still find these on Amazon. I really recommend that because it was a great place. My website tells you where to turn right and left and everything you need to know to navigate the hike. But Peggy gives a lot of great background information that I'm not really qualified to give. So I recommend those if you're interested in some of the natural history of the area. So then at work they were looking for somebody to lead a new hire network hiking group, and because I didn't have any friends or anything else to do, I had become the guy who knew a lot of the hikes around here. And so I volunteered to lead them, and every Thursday in the summertime at 5 o'clock we would meet in the parking lot at IBM and go for a different adventure. So we had anywhere between 5 and 25 people showing up, and had a great summer doing hikes and exploring the area, and that turned into 5 summers of leading hikes and exploring the area. So I did that for 5 years. And when I first moved here, at the moment I should have mentioned too, the Mills Mansion, if you all grown up and visited that place, that was one of the first places I visited out of Peggy's books. And the trail goes right along the river there. There's a wide bay, and the Surplus Meadows lighthouse is out in the middle of the river, and the Catskills out beyond that. And the trail kind of goes over this bluff where you're looking down on all of this. And I just remember this moment. It was like a Wednesday evening. I'm like, I feel like I'm on vacation right now. And this is a place where people live, and I'd love to live here myself someday. And it turned out that someday was about a year later. I got a full-time offer to come back and keep working at IBM. So yeah, it's been a great 20 years of continuing to explore the area. And one of the great things about doing this website is that people ask me, hey, well, how come you haven't documented this one or that one? There are all these great places that I didn't know about. So you can be hunting for great places to hike around here for a decade and still find new ones all the time. Yeah, so around that time, after I've been doing the hiking group for about 5 years, we had a little change in priorities. My lovely, studly assistant here was born right over at Vassar Brothers, which you can get a nice view of Vassar Brothers from the Walkway. And yeah, so we stopped hiking for a while we were hanging out with Evan. Next slide. We got this wonderful gift from my sister-in-law, and Evan, when he was born, he was a preemie, he weighed 4 pounds. We were not in a frame of mind for thinking about hiking at the time. I'm like, yeah, that's thanks. This is a really thoughtful, wonderful present. We put it in the closet downstairs. Didn't think about it for a year. But then as Evan got bigger, we found we put him in this thing. He would relax all day long. Like as long as I could keep walking, he would keep relaxing, even when he was teething. So we started doing a lot of hiking. This was the best present I think I've ever received, and my kids are too big for it now, but we still can't bring ourselves to part with it. We still got it in the house. Yeah, so we called it giving mommy her moment of zen when we would clear out of the house. I take the dog and Evan, and we just go explore all these places that I used to go through the New Hire Network at work. And so we spent a lot of time out exploring the area, trying to look at some new hikes. Next slide. I found that when I was looking to revisit some of these places that I had gone to years ago, there wasn't like a great place where you could find out information about all of them online anywhere. And I was kind of expecting to find that. And there are some great resources, like all scenic Hudson hikes, have wonderful trail maps, but it's hard to find a one-stop shop for all the hikes in the area. So I thought it might be a fun project to try to create one. So I've always liked writing. I wrote for my high school newspaper. IBM hired me as a technical writer. I was a computer science major, but I picked up an English minor just for fun, and that actually helped me get a job. I might be the first person in the history of the world who got a job based on an English minor, but that worked out really nicely. So I took on the project of starting to create trail guides, and I thought, just from my memory, I listed 33 that I thought I could document pretty well. So I wanted to get back out and get some more recent information, so Evan and I we started hitting the trail, and Kara joined us as well, and around that time as well, we knew that Zach was coming along. So we said, hurry, we've got this hiking with one baby down. I don't know how you do it with two. So we did a lot of exploring in that time frame and learned a lot of new wonderful hikes around the area. I got a little hiking GPS that helped record all the information, so the exact length of the hikes and the ascent elevation change and all that. Yep, so we got tons of pictures, some sore muscles, GPS data for all of these hikes. And I found if you take that GPS data, you can load it into Google Maps, and it can give you a trace. So if you all are hiking and you want to compare your location against my location when I was doing the hike, you can pull it up and it will give you a dot and show you where you are against my tracks. So that helps you stay okay. There's also the Avenza app, which is a free app that you can get with all the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference maps. You can load those into the Avenza app. It's the same thing. So you can keep track of where you are. You can't always depend on having cell service, or your phone battery may die, so it's always good to have paper maps. But the Avenza app is a really nice way to keep track of where you are. And you can also do it from the website. I've loaded all my GPS data out there so you can keep tabs on where you are. All right. So when I was thinking about what I would want to see as a hiker myself in an online trail guide, I thought, even if you go and buy a book at Barnes & Noble or Amazon, all trail guides need to have crystal clear instructions, hopefully a story or two about what the author experienced while they were on the hike, and then the data, how many miles, how many hours, and that kind of stuff. But there are some things you can do online that you can't do in a regular paper book. Like unlimited pictures, the ability to be updated immediately as conditions change. And we were just talking about Breakneck Ridge before the session started. That had a car-sized boulder dislodged a couple weeks ago and fall near the trail, and the trail was shut down. It just reopened yesterday morning. But things like that, as they happen, you can go out and update the trail guide and put warnings out there. And the Park Service has started sending me updates, which is really nice. So I try to keep it as current as possible out there. So when Breakneck reopened, I was able to put a notice out there. Hey, it's safe. Well, keep an eye out for falling boulders, but it's been deemed as safe. So yeah, I'm continuously adding new trail guides as I finish. I found when I first started, I tried to keep them very brief, but people seem to like, at least the first time through, having plenty of detail. So I've been focusing on putting as much detail as I can into the trail guides. So I get maybe 3 or 4 new ones written a year, but I try to take my time and put everything that might be helpful to a hiker. Oh, and lots of jokes that would never make it past the editor. I thought these were bad jokes, but my kids just told me they're actually dad jokes. Bad jokes. Sounds a little bad. All right, so all of the trail guides that I have on the website give you a quick overview with the quick statistics, give you background on the hike. So I've labeled that section background. Background you can feel free to skip. If you don't want to hear my little personal anecdotes about the hike, you can skip that part. And then a step-by-step trail guide. That's something I learned when I started out as a technical writer. Again, people love ordered lists. 1, 2, 3. It's easy to follow, so that's how I've created all the trail guides as ordered lists. Because I found I was always losing my place in a paragraph style trail guide when I was hiking along. Where was I again? So the numbers help keep on track. So when I started doing this, I was pretty sure it was just a project that my eyes would be the only ones that ever saw. Maybe my mom would think it was nice that I had done this. But since February of 2017, it's gotten 3.5 million page views on the site. So it's really exceeded my expectations of what I ever thought other people would get out of the website, and it's really nice to see you get that kind of traction. I also been on a couple of magazine covers, and Zach was on the cover with me of the Hudson Valley magazine. I didn't know that they were using that one for the cover when that was coming out, and my neighbor texted me. She was like, I just saw you in my mailbox. That was the July 2017 issue. I've got another article coming out of Hudson Valley magazine on hiking with kids, on specialties, that's coming out in July as well. So, yeah. I'll probably skip over this, but just to say that I work with a local creative agency in Kingston called Kingston Creative to launch a new version of the website in 2018. So it's got a bunch of bells and whistles that you didn't used to have. It's mobile responsive, so you don't have to pinch and squint to see on the mobile device. There's a bunch of new stuff on the site. Alright, so I just finished a Great Swamp Trail Guide. That was the most recent one that I've written. Up next, I'll be working on Mount Trimper, then Giant Stairs down right off the Palisades Parkway, Pinwheel Vistas on the Appalachian Trail in New Jersey, and Slide Mountain. I still don't have that one documented on the site for the tallest Catskill Peak. So to get some more trail credit, I should probably have that one documented on the site. If anybody has any suggestions of hikes that you'd like to see out there, please let me know. Jeff Kent, who's here, has been a user of the site for a while. It's nice. I just met him in person for the first time. We've been communicating for years on the site, and so it's really nice to meet you. Jeff has given me some great recommendations as well. So there are at least a couple trail guides that I wouldn't have out there if not Jeff. Okay. All right. So hiking tips. Well, I guess a lot of people have already used the site before. I don't know if we're dealing with the crowd, because I put it on the website. If you keep a cliff bar and an ankle holster and you're out hiking all the time, or if you're fairly new to it. But I have some really high-level hiking tips, like always bring more water than you think you're going to need. That's a horrible feeling to be out on the trail and to run out of water, especially if you're hiking with a couple of thirsty kids who drink all your water. It's really important to throw in a couple of extra bottles. Food you wouldn't normally allow yourself to eat, you're out burning lots of calories, so I said on the site that your backpack should look like a third grader's lunchbox. Go ahead and bring those Rice Krispie treats and treat yourself while you're out there. It's always a good idea to have paper maps, as we mentioned before. You know, if your phone dies or you lose service, you always need something you can fall back on. And stiff-soled hiking shoes. I never put much stock in that when I was a kid. I always used to just wear whatever tennis shoe I had on. But I've really found, especially if you're hiking somewhere rocky, like if you go out to Sam's Point in the Sharango, you're walking on rocks the whole time, it really beats up your feet. And if you wear something like Merrell's or something with a stiffer sole, it's a lot friendlier on your feet. Trekking poles. If you're hiking with a child on your back, I would say this is mandatory equipment. I used to think they seemed kind of unnecessary, but since I started hiking with them, it makes it so much easier on your knees. And there was one time when I was hiking with Evan on my back, and my toe caught a root, and I tripped, and I thought, well, okay, yeah, catch myself. But with all that weight and Evan, water bottles on my back, I smashed my. If you look at the section of trail, it was flat. It looked totally harmless, and it should be harmless, but it just happened like that. And I thought I had broken my nose. I was checking to see if I still had all my teeth. Thankfully, I did. But yeah, the shirt had blood all over it, and Evan was fine, thankfully. But if I had had trekking poles, that never would have happened. So, you know, it happens fast. If you're hiking with kids on your back, that should really be mandatory equipment to always use trekking poles. And they're great when you're on your own, or if you're doing a stream crossing. You know, you don't need to look for branches you can hold on to. You know, it makes it a lot easier to balance on the rocks and just sweep your way across. So I highly recommend those. Yeah. Any old backpack, GPS, insect repellent, at least for your shoes. We live in a high Lyme disease area, so it's good just to give yourself a couple of squirts. Or if you're my wife, have a big cloud coming up with a bug spray on it. That method works also. But yeah. Is there anything I skipped, or any other advice anybody else might have that I'd like to check? Yeah, I almost wore them today because I was like, it's kind of hot out. Do I really want to be presenting in long pants? But it feels weird to give a presentation in shorts. They're the pants you can zip the bottoms off of. So if you're indecisive, you can just wear those, and then you're wearing pants and shorts at the same time. So that's what we colloquially call zippy doos in our house, is the pants that you can just zip on. Band-aids, yes, that's a really good one. For cuts and scrapes, and also if you start to feel a blister forming, Band-aid can help knock that right out. And even a little piece of duct tape too, is good for your feet if you start to feel a hot spot. Yeah. Gaiters, yes. Can you speak? I just got a pair of them, and I haven't used them because there was no snow on the hike that I took them on. But could you talk a little bit about what you use them for?
Oh, I have ones that can treat it to ward off ticks.
Oh.
It's very easy to trick or something.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Ticks. It's nothing else but a piece of lime a little bit.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah, so gaiters, you put them on right, they sit right above your shoe, above your shin.
It's muddy out.
Yeah, it's good if it's muddy or if it's snowy, helps keep the snow or the mud out of your boots. And keep the ticks off. Good.
I also suggest people bring garbage bags to pick up trash other people.
Garbage bags to pick up trash, yes, that's an excellent one. And I have on the website, I just added this language in based on the discussion that we were having on the site about people junking up the trails. Now at the front of every trail guide it says, please pick up at least one piece of litter out on your hike. If you're enjoying the use of this free trail guide, that can be your pick. Just pick up a piece of trash while you're out there and leave it just a little bit nicer for the next person. And I'm going to change the site to at the bottom. It'll say, want to become a member of Hike the Hudson Valley, even though that's not a real thing. It'll say, to become a member, just pick up a piece of litter on any of the hikes that you do because of this site, and boom, you're a member now. Benefits of membership include leaving the trails a little bit nicer for the next visitor and increased chances of accidentally picking up a $20 bill. And that's what, any other hiking tips anybody would like to share? That was a good one. Yeah.
An ace bandage and some aspirin.
An ace bandage and some aspirin. Really good. As part of do you carry a little first aid kit with you, or just those?
Yeah, and some band-aids and things like that. Yeah.
That's very good.
Maybe a compact poncho.
Compact poncho. Yes, conditions can change quickly up there. That's a good idea.
More likely than not.
Yes, yeah, especially these days, yeah.
The other thing I was going to say is, tell somebody where you're going. Because,
Yeah, tell somebody where you're going. And anybody who's seen 127 hours, yes, that's very good advice.
Well, along with that, then if there's a logbook for the trail, sign in and sign up.
Yes, whenever you see a trail register, please do. You know, a lot of people walk right past those trail registers, and they use those to help get funding for the trails as well, to know how many people are using the trails. So yes, that's great. I mean, it'll help people find you.
Don't learn the hard way like I did, you know, spare pair of shoelaces.
Spare pair of shoelaces. Yeah, that's good. My dad, I put some of these hiking tips on the website, and I asked my dad, who I grew up hiking with, what did I miss? And he sent me a list, and an extra pair of shoelaces was one of the things on the list. Yeah, it's really good. And Zach, I actually asked my kids as well. Zach says an extra pair of shoes. Couldn't hurt, right? Yeah. And to wear a tank top, because it has even shorter sleeves than short sleeves. Yes, that's a good one. And don't wear a shirt with buttons, because the buttons could come undone and you could lose your shirt. Yeah, that's another good one. Yeah. This kid is an expert on losing shirts too, so he knows. Yeah.
We carry bear spray.
Bear spray. Yeah. We had a bear wandering around our neighborhood down in Football Country. And I had a little can of bear spray that my parents gave me, and I started tucking it in my jacket when I was going for a walk. But yeah, can you get bear spray in this area, or do you have to go?
Buy it online.
Buy it online. Yeah.
You can get it in Kent, Connecticut.
In Kent, Connecticut. Okay. Is there a particular store there, do you know, or?
Well, we have an outdoor store.
An outdoor store. Okay, yeah, because so the bear spray, a canister for spraying a bear in the face if you need to. I've never heard of anybody. Well, there was actually in New Jersey, in the preserve, there was a college student who got mauled by a bear, and that was the first bear fatality in recorded history in New Jersey. That was maybe 5 years ago. So it's a very low probability event, but things can happen. So yeah, tucking a can of bear spray into your backpack. The others, these are great. Yeah, change your clothes in the car. That's a good one. I keep a water bottle in the car as well. It might be a little warmer when I get back, but that's free water that I didn't have to carry all day that I know is waiting for me when I get back. So if I'm drinking down the last of the water that I got, which shouldn't happen because I followed my own advice and brought more than I would need, there's a bottle there for you in the car.
Water in here.
So you freeze and pack and keep it there. That's great. So it keeps it cold all day. That's great. Do you use that with like a water bladder for a drink?
Yes, it's you can get it with just a regular pot.
Oh, so you freeze the water that you're going to be drinking and you drink it as it comes. Oh, yeah, that's really good. I like that one. Very nice. Can you fill them up? Do you have to be careful not to fill them all the way full? Or?
Yeah, otherwise it'll pop it off. And when I bought this one, and 10 years ago, and when it breaks, you send it back to the company, and then you send it in.
Wow. So it's a lifetime guarantee on this? So when it breaks, we'll send you a new one.
Or save boxes. When I get a new one.
All right, this has been really good. What else? These are some good ones. Yeah?
Well, if you're doing a round trip, not point to point, better plan when you're going to turn around.
when you're doing a round trip, plan where you're turning around. That's a good one. And also, I always make a point to look at my watch. You know, shortly after you leave the car, look at your watch and know when you left, know how long you've been hiking, so that you can make a good judgment about getting back to your car before sundown, or any other time constraints you may have. Getting back in time to bring your kid to a birthday party to bounce, that one before as well. Yeah. Any others?
A whistle.
Yeah. A whistle. Yes, it's very good. Yeah, we just found his backpack had one built into the straps because they were driving us crazy walking around blowing the whistle. So that's a lot of backpacks still have that, and that's a really nice feature.
We found out when we first got the backpack.
Yes. So I had my timeline incorrect. Am I getting heckled right now? That's true, yes. You guys did find that whistle very quickly. Any others? Yes. An extra backup battery for the cell phone. That's a really good one. Yeah. I was just using a new GPS tracker on my cell phone instead of carrying a separate Garmin device. And I didn't know how quickly it was going to drain it, so I carried one of those. So good. Yeah. Okay. Any others? Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, so we talked about leaving no trace and picking up litter and making it nicer. So I'd like to think of it as erase other people's traces instead of just leave no traces of your own. So if we could all do our part out there, leave your trails a little bit nicer for each other. Okay, so this is the part where I'm going to see if you all can recognize some of the beautiful places that we have around here. And then I'll show you a little bit of the summary that I put there on the site. And I hope you find some new places to explore from this. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and get going. We'll start with an easy one.
FDR.
Yeah. Yeah, the Walkway over the Hudson. It's a beautiful spot. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend it. Give it a try. Recognize this one? Yep, Breakneck Ridge. So this is the one that just reopened as of yesterday. And we stayed in it. That's right. Yeah. So this one has its own train stop. It only runs on the weekends. So if you're a local and you can avoid this one on the weekends, I would recommend go it on a weekday. Even a weekday evening is a beautiful time to go. Because if you go on the weekends, the train is going to be dropping off a ton of hikers. So if you're looking for solitude, that's probably not the time to do it. Though it's always a beautiful hike to check out. Yeah. How big? How long? Yeah, so I've got this one documented as a loop. So it's 3.7 miles if you do the whole loop. The first mile is really where you have the most views and where it's like climbing an elevator shaft, where it's just straight up the whole way. So yeah, there's some scrambling to it too. So it's a lot of hand over hand, so you want to make sure you're able to hike with your hands free. That's not one that I would do with a kid on my back. Yeah, I wouldn't be safe for that. So it's been listed in some areas as the most popular trail in the United States. If you visit there on the weekend, you'd probably agree. It looks like the most popular trail in the United States.
Very difficult, very dangerous.
Recognize this one? It looks like Constitution Marsh, and it's very similar, but it's not. This is the most recent one I put out there. No, it's not. There is a spot out there that looks just like this. Yes, indeed. This is the Great Swamp. And this is a hike that I just put out there a couple of weeks ago, but there are a couple of wonderful trail organizations that maintain this stretch. They just completed that boardwalk there in 2012. Some of the pilings, they had to drill them down 30 feet deep until they could get solid ground. So this was a couple of years in the making. I think it was like $300,000 that it cost them to build it. And it's in Paulding, so just north of the village of Paulding. So maybe 25 minutes east of here. It's a beautiful stretch along the Appalachian Trail. So you can just do the boardwalk and turn around and go home if you just want to get out in nature a little bit. Or you can keep walking to Georgia if you'd like to. I document the Dover Oak is the largest oak tree on the Appalachian Trail, and it's the largest white oak in New York. And you can hike from the Great Swamp to the Dover Oak. And if you want to, you can then climb the hill. It'll be a 7-mile trek to do all the way up to Cat Rocks, which has a nice little view looking down over the valley that you just hiked through. So that's a gorgeous place, just right around the corner from here. This one? Vanderbilt Falls, that's right, yeah. So this is the view from the new viewing platform that they just built up there that we did a couple of years ago. So you used to have to walk along a very busy stretch of road to visit Vanderbilt Falls. And they've since expanded the parking lot up top and created this really nice viewing platform. It used to be really dangerous if you wanted to get a view down, and there are still accidents here where people ignore the warning fencing. There are fatal accidents here. It used to happen with some regularity. I think it's been a little while, at least a couple of years since the last one. So it's very important if you do go to pay attention to the signage, but they've created a very wonderful, safe viewing platform. And I highly recommend if you haven't been up there since they put the platform there, checking it out. Yeah, you've done that one. Yeah. But really, I can tell it made a big impression. Okay. This is a really obscure one. I'll be impressed if anybody can get this one. You know? No? Any guesses?
Red Wing.
Yeah, this is the Red Wing Recreation Area. Not to be confused, there is another Red Wing park like 3 miles down Route 82 from this one. And when somebody first told me, like, hey, you should put Red Wing. I was like, Red Wing? Like the concession stand with the hot dogs and the lifeguard? But this is right up at the intersection of Route 55 and 82. Pizza Express is right there on the corner. Just if you go north on Route 82, maybe 100 feet, there's a little pull off. And it's a hike that I never knew. I lived 8 minutes from this place for 10 years before I knew that it was there. Julian Diamond, a really nice local photographer, told me about this place. And you can see the cell tower up there as you're driving on Route 55. And the hike goes right up to the cell tower, and it's a really nice, pleasant loop. So for us, having a really nice view like this, 8 minutes from the house, it's really, really nice. And then there's a pizza place right at the bottom, too. This is the highest point in Dutchess County. Yeah. This is a gorgeous hike. And I didn't know, for many years, even though I used to do that New Hire Network group, I had no idea about the Taconic Range. Kind of hiding their way back up there. But they're not too far from here, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. There's a lot of beautiful hikes in there. But the ones I've done, I think Grace Mountain has the best view at the top. It's just this wide open, grassy plain, wide open grassy area. Paragliders launch off of this. If you catch it at the right time on the weekend, you can see some paragliders taking flight from here. Zach and I saw a rattlesnake here, or the only rattlesnake I've ever seen in the Hudson Valley. But they are out and about. What town is this? It's north of Millerton, maybe about 20 minutes northeast. Yeah. So it's and you spend a lot of the hike not in New York, but then you circle back around into Dutchess County, right near the peak.
An added feature during the race is what really bottom and come to the point where New York, Connecticut, and Massachusetts all join the tri-point. You can be 3 states at the same time.
So you can be in 3 states at the same time. That's marked with a granite.
Yeah, there's a marker there with,
Yeah. So you can be in New York, Massachusetts, and Connecticut all at once. So that's about an hour from here. And there are rattlesnakes. If you want to see a rattlesnake, the Taconic Range is probably the best place to see them. Mount Allender is right next to Grace. And yeah, rattle. There was one. Apparently, the Eastern Timber rattlesnake is the kind that we have around here. And apparently, they're very docile. They're the friendliest kind of rattlesnake we have. But somebody did share a picture on the site of 7 rattlesnakes hanging out right near the trail. That was on Mount Allender, but so it just bears pointing out. And I spend I spent a lot of time talking about that. That rattlesnake made a big impression on me, so I have a picture of it on the website as well. But it let us walk right by, and it was right there, and it rattled rather than choose to do anything else. So I appreciate that it chose to go that way. Yeah, Stone Church. This was another one. I lived here for 10 years before I knew about this one. And I saw a picture on my oblong land conservancy website. I was like, what is this place? Why have I never been there? So this is just north of the Great Swamp, actually. And it's a really short, flat hike, about a mile to this cave where you can explore. The trail goes right into the cave. The water's probably pretty high right now, so it might be an adventure trying to get into the cave. But when things are normal and it hasn't been raining for a month straight, you can walk right into there. There's a waterfall that comes down the back of the cave. It's really a wonderful place. And the trail conference just added some more trails that split off right before you get to the cave. So if you want to make a little bit longer of a hike out of it, you can go explore one of those trails as well. And they have little views at the top. Nothing earth-shattering, but it's a pleasant place to take a walk in the woods. But, you know, this one's a panoramic picture, so the perspective is a little bit skewed. But that's about what it looks like up there. Now, Beacon is one guess. It's up north of here. So this one is the big reveal. Wittenberg Mountain, and this is there may be a better view in the Catskills. I'm not sure where that might be. There's a lot of beautiful views up there. But if somebody said, what's the most beautiful view in the Catskills? I would point to this one. It's a 7-mile hike. It's very strenuous. I remember the first time I went, and I've said this on the website, Kara was my girlfriend at the time. And I was like, I'm so glad she didn't come on this one. She would have been so mad at me for dragging her up this mountain. Yeah. I say on the site, I don't know that she would be my wife today if I had taken her to Wittenberg that day. Yes, she's done lots of hikes. And may like this one now, but you should know what you're getting into. But it is a beautiful hike. It's a slog the whole way up, and then it just opens up into this panoramic view of the Ashokan Reservoir below. Okay.
Cheapskate alert.
Yes, I put a cheapskate alert on any of the hikes that have an entrance fee. So this is one of them where you have to pay a few bucks to park. Is it on there? Or did you just? Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, $6 per car. Money well spent. Yeah. It doesn't scream Hudson Valley when you look at this one. We annexed this one into the Hudson Valley.
Silver Sands?
Yeah, Silver Sands State Park. The kids had a day off from school. We were looking for something to do. It was later in the summer, and we hadn't gotten to the beach at all. So my wife found this one. She was like, have you seen pictures of this place? It looks awesome. And that's about a mile stretch of sand that gets covered up twice a day, and based on the tides, then it uncovers twice a day. So you have to time it right, and I have a link to the tide charts out there as well. So you want to make sure that you don't go at the wrong time, because apparently people with some regularity do get swept away off of the sandbar when they're not paying attention, or they try to go when the tide's rising. But this is a really beautiful hike. It's an hour and a half from here, so it's a little bit of a trek, but it's a day trippable from here. And there's a nice boardwalk that goes along the shore there as well. So if you're hankering for the beach and you haven't made it out there, this is a really nice spot to go to. Anybody know what that's called, by the way? Just a piece of trivia. It's a vocabulary word I learned for a stretch of a sandbar like that you can walk on. A causeway, yeah. There are some. Sorry, I'm going to get off track here. I'm not sure the difference between a causeway and a tombolo, but this is officially a tombolo, which is a word I had never heard in my life. But you can hike on the tombolo out to Charles Island, the Silver Sands State Park. That's place to go. Milford, New Milford, Connecticut. Yeah, there's a little hermit crab skittering around this building. How about this one? Just over the border in Connecticut. Castle Point. Oh, that's a place I haven't been to. I know. Just lost some credibility on this one is on the Appalachian Trail. It's called Lion's Head. It's near Salisbury, Connecticut. Vanderbilt one's a little bit further from here as well, but I found another trail guide that said that this is the shortest hike to the best view in Western Connecticut. It's about a 2.1 mile up and back trek. I had a friend of mine, I forget what I gave it a 5 out of 10. I had a friend who went hiking there with her family, and she was like, 5 out of 10? It was way harder than that. But it's short. There's a flat lead up to it, so even that 2 miles is not all hill. So I'm sticking to my guns on the 5 out of 10. Alaska. Yeah, so this is Gertrude's nose, and this is right over in Alaska. This is another one that it took me many years. It was just a few years ago that I went here for the first time. I had heard about it a bunch of times and had never gone to see it myself. The whole time I was going, why have I not been here before? If somebody said, I want to do one long hike, the most beautiful one in the Hudson Valley, I would say, at least in the top 3 of your list, you should consider Gertrude's Nose. This is a gorgeous hike. You don't have to do it as an 8-mile loop, but it does make a nice 8-mile loop. You could shave off a little bit of time if you just want to do it up and back, but you're walking along the cliff top for at least a mile, and it's really a gorgeous spot. So I say on the site, you'll never regret picking Gertrude's Nose. That's one of those bad jokes. This is one of the last pictures I took with that camera, at least with that lens. I set it up on a little tripod. My wife and I, we took a half day from work, and right after I took this picture, there's one of us from behind. I'd set up the tripod, and then the wind just blew it right over. There's probably one picture. So yeah, lost the camera right before I took this picture, but it was worth it. It was a beautiful hike. So this one I had never said. This was another recommendation that came from a comment that somebody dropped on one of the trail guides saying, "Hey, you should check this place out." I was really glad that I did. Surprise! This is not Surprise Lake. You can walk another half mile behind this viewpoint, and you get to this beautiful lake. It's called Surprise Lake. This is Greenwood Lake, right on the New York-New Jersey line. So the town is Greenwood Lake. There's little restaurants in there that you can visit. There's a marina that shares the right-of-way for the parking area for this. So it can get crowded on the weekends. If you're going to try to go on a weekend, you should go early. But this is a beautiful spot that I never would have known about. There's a couple different approaches you can take to get to Surprise Lake. But this is a really pretty way to do it. It gives you this nice vantage point looking down on Greenwood Lake. A little closer to home. Yeah, Alana is one that's on my to-do list, and this is the Vanderbilt Mansion. So I've got Vanderbilt and Mills Mansion and the FDR estate documented out there, but I know there's some others that I need to get out there, like Montgomery House. Alana has some nice trails. So if anybody knows the best trails to visit at Alana, I'd love to hear it. That's on our immediate to-do list. There's a really nice 3-mile loop there. It takes you past a couple small waterfalls, and it takes you right down by the river. It's nice when you can find spots where the train tracks come inland a little bit so that you can get the river without having a train right there with you. This is one of those spots where you can do that. And if you're feeling lazy, you can just drive through. The driveway has a nice view looking out over the river and the Catskills, which isn't a bad place to catch a sunset. That picture's kind of laid out. Remember this one? Oh yeah, the Indian Ladder Trail. So this is, along with Silver Sands, this is probably the furthest away hike that I've documented. It's really close to Albany, and I had to look up on Wikipedia, like, where does the Hudson Valley end exactly? So this is Upper Hudson Valley. So it's about 2 hours from here. Yeah, you can see the Hudson. Yeah, it's gorgeous. This is another one where from the parking lot you get a gorgeous view.
Cheapskate alert.
Cheapskate alert. Yes, you have to pay a few bucks, $6. Another $6 well spent. They just built a new visitor center up there that was under construction last time we visited. But I said it feels like you're in Utah when you're here. You're walking under this cliff, there's waterfalls coming, you walk behind the waterfall under these cliffs. It's really a gorgeous place. So it's a long drive, but it's worth it if you're looking for a day trip destination, or you happen to be up in your own or something else. Yeah, right down your neck. So it was actually Jeff who told me that the Croton Dam is, let's do your thunder if you want to do it. Yeah, it's the third largest hand-hewn stone structure in the world behind the Great Wall of China and the Great Pyramid. Oh, if we don't count the Great Wall of China, then it's the second. Yeah, just one of the pyramids has more stone than the Croton Dam. And I'd seen pictures of this a million times, and I had never been there to visit it myself. And it's really a beautiful hike. If you're hiking with kids, there's a playground right there, so that's a nice feature. It's right beside the trail. You walk the trail that just kind of takes one switchback and puts you right up on top of that dam. So you're looking down onto the waterfall, and there's a reservoir right behind you with a spillway. It's really a beautiful place. And that's down Westchester, 30 minutes south of it. Kind of hard to tell from this one. This is Bulls Bridge. It's right near Connecticut, so half an hour east of here, maybe. And there's a beautiful stretch of Appalachian Trail right along the Houston. Right at Bulls Bridge, that's a very popular picnic destination, so you'll have a lot of company right there. But as you start venturing down the trail, you'll have to place more to yourself. It's a really beautiful stretch of trail that goes right along the river.
Parking can be tight.
Parking can be tight, indeed, yes. Yeah, so that's another good one to hit with an off time if you can. Giant Ledge, yes. This is, the hike is called Giant Ledge, but there's 5 distinct ledges. So if you get to the first ledge and it's taken, just stroll a little bit further and you'll come to another ledge in just a moment. That was a surprise to me. I didn't know that. I was like, oh, there's another ledge right here, and another one. And you can string this one together to climb Panther Mountain, which is one of the highest, 4th or 5th highest peaks in the Catskills. It's on the 23. So this is a really nice hike that has variable difficulty. If you want to add another mountain after you visit the Giant Ledge, you can. And this is also another really popular one. So we have this answer. Yeah, so here's Constitution Marsh, down near Garrison, is the closest town to that. Has a beautiful boardwalk that goes through this marsh right into the Hudson River. And you're looking at the Hudson Highlands to the north of you. And from that parking lot, you can also walk to a really nice waterfall. So Indian Brook Falls is right there as well. So this is a really low intensity, high payoff hike. Right now about 40 minutes out. Also very limited parking. Yeah, they reached out. Yeah, there's 8 parking spots here. And they do ticket, apparently, from the comments I've seen. So you do want to obey the parking regulations. If you get there and it's full, maybe go to Cold Spring and get a sandwich and come back a little bit. But yeah, this one is another one that would be good to hit on a weeknight or a weekday. Recognize that guy? No. This is one that I couldn't find anything about this place online before I created this trail guide for it. We couldn't find the entrance. My buddy and I were driving around trying to find the entrance to this place, and we could not find it. Google Maps had it wrong. But we found a botany website that gave us the clue that we needed to crack the case to find this place. Next one. Bear Hill Preserve. It's right around the corner from Sands Point, which is its more popular sibling. But Bear Hill Preserve is this is another very low intensity, very high payoff hike. It's about a flat mile on gravel road out to this place. They've raised the entrance fee. It used to be $3 a person. I think it's $7 a person now, where you get a season pass for $20. You can climb down into this crevice. They call it the grapefruit squeezer, because lemon squeezer was already taken in there. But you can explore down, and it goes way deeper than it looks like it does. You kind of come around this corner, it's like, whoa, this chasm opens up in front of you. And the kids, it was relatively safe. We went through it nice and carefully, but you can have some adventure here in addition to the views, and it's a really beautiful place. So that was about 25 of my favorite hiking destinations. I hope you all have found this to be useful. Thank you so much for coming out today. I also want to thank the local hiking community. You know, I document where to go, but it is really the trail organizations that give us all these awesome places, including the folks who make the Walkway possible, so the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference, and St. Hudson, and all the folks who are doing the hard work out there to give us these awesome destinations. My buddy Josh Perlson, who took the prototype that I created for the site and made it into what Hudson Valley ended up being. I'm forever in his debt. And Kingston Creative for doing such a nice redesign. My family for being so tolerant of all the time I spent on the site and all the hikes I've made it come on with me. And that red backpack, just for being that red backpack. So that's it. All right. Thank you. I hope you got some good information out of this or found what you were looking for here.
How often do you encounter snakes aside
So that one rattlesnake that I saw on Grace Mountain is the only venomous snake that I have ever seen on the Hudson Valley. They are around. I've seen a few smaller. I would say in the 20 years that I've been hiking here, I've seen 5 or 6 snakes.
But in the morning after it's been cold that day, they like to lie right in the middle of the trail. And they look just like roots. They go look that root, man. Once that warms up,
So that's when we should go hiking, right? And in August is when people start posting rattlesnake pictures. I think the rattlesnakes are a little more ornery in the late summer. So I just went and visited Mount Tremper, and Catskill Mountaineer had listed Mount Tremper's high rattlesnake warning, so I visited when it was cold, because apparently 55 degrees or so is the temperature. If it's below that, the snake won't be out. So if it's a real concern, you can time your hike. The Empire Pass, yes. People who do a lot of hiking, gets you into the state parks for free, right? So you don't have to worry about the cheapskate alerts. And you can check those out in local libraries as well. I just found out you can check out an Empire Pass or even a Mohawk Preserve Pass from the library. They even have hiking backpacks at Adrian's Library in Poughkeepsie, so you can check out a backpack. By Denning's Point.
And it'll tell you which one they have what you get access to. So just drop
That's great, thank you. We did Madame Bread Park and took the connector, and I'm not sure if we know that Grace Hour Trail out to Denning's Point. I was going to write that one up, but I couldn't. There was a trail closure sign that confused me. I wasn't sure. K-L-A-R-A. Great, thank you. I'll check that out. That's fantastic. Thank you. So yes, that one is very high on my radar. So the Clara Sour Trail, the Denning's Point and Beacon. And there's an education center right now. Is it called the Beacon Institute or something like that? And kayaking, yes. And there's cubbies for kayaks, that's great. Yeah, people have asked me, like, where can I kayak? And we haven't done it before, so there are some other kayaking resources around. And Locust Grove, yes, and I have that one documented on the website as well. So the Samuel Morse Estate, right on Route 9 in Poughkeepsie. It's tucked in amongst all these strip malls. You wouldn't expect there to be a really nice hike back there, and there is. It's a very nice one.
Another cheapskate where I live called the Golden Parks program in New York, where Well, it's not a holiday. You can get into the state parks, 62 or older.
Okay, 62 or older for free. How do you get the golden, or do you have to
Just show your driver's license, you go again, you're a New York State resident. And I used to work in Boston, for example.
Yeah.
So if it's a weekday, it's a holiday on Monday, you can't go on.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Overlook, I haven't gone to Echo Lake. I do have Overlook Mountain documented up to the fire tower and the cliff overlook. Would you recommend doing the jaunt down to Echo Lake as well?
It's not very far, and they do have a little
Yeah. Oh, what a great place to have a honeymoon.
Yeah, in October and it snowed.
Oh, no. So no snakes though, right? So,
Yes, it's Echo Lake, it's really pretty.
that's wonderful. We'll have to check it out. We'll put that one on the list. And I heard they just improved the parking up there as well, because that was another place that was very congested. So they've opened another lot up near Overlook. I haven't been up there since they've done it.
Well, I haven't been up there since it became a park. We used to go up when it was private property illegal. We were on our way down once and we heard them coming up in their Jeep into the woods and we whacked our way down the woods.
Nice that you don't have to do that anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really nice idea. Yeah, there's no reason I couldn't put that file up on the site.
Fire Tower, Thompson Pond.
The Stissing Mountain. Yeah, it's a beautiful spot. I have that one documented on the site. Yeah, I think I have that one rated as a 6 out of 10. I always have to tell myself, it's only about 45 minutes to the top. And that tower, they built it, feels like 30 feet taller than any of the other fire towers around here. It's a really tall one. And breaking it down. You can feel the debris up there. Oh, well, thank you. I never thought you'd ask. The Kingston Creative created this design, and we had a Kickstarter campaign where it was available for a limited time. So I'm working with them on putting something for it in case you can get it. It's really nice to hear. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's nice. So yes, that's on the to-do list as well.
It's not for our questions.
Guys, well, thank you again so much for coming.
Wasn't that great? Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for coming. Look at our website for the next lecture series. It's not scheduled yet, but it will be in July. Thanks for coming.